Be prepared, it's here. That moment you've been sensing but couldn't explain. The air feels different, your body's restless, and something inside you knows it's not just another day. This is the start of a massive shift in how you connect, give, and receive love. And if you're still over-explaining yourself, over-giving, overstretching just to feel wanted, you're about to get hit the hardest. Imagine a phone with too many apps open. It crashes. That's your energy when you're always emotionally available, always replying, always saying yes, always proving you're enough. But love was never supposed to cost you your peace. And now, Venus is stepping into Gemini. The planet of love and worth is no longer swimming in emotion. It's sharpening its mind, cleaning up its space, and learning how to choose. This isn't about ghosting. This is about growing. There's a reason you've been feeling distant lately, even from people you once loved deeply. It's not because your heart's broken, it's because your soul's protecting something sacred, your energy. You're no longer meant to be reachable 24/7. That version of you, the one who responded right away, stayed too long, said yes too much, that wasn't the real you. That was the version shaped by fear, the version that thought love had to be earned through effort. But this Venus shift, it's not asking you to give more. It's asking you to pause, to protect, to think. As Rumi once said, "Don't get lost in your pain. Know that one day your pain will become your cure." So if this is hitting you, if your soul feels like it's trying to whisper something important, don't ignore it. Like and subscribe now. Drop 777 in the comments if you're ready to stop being so available to people who never deserved that access. Press like to help this message reach someone else who needs to wake up before tomorrow. Chapter 1. They didn't want your love. They wanted your reaction. Be careful. Press like to help this message reach someone else who needs to wake up before tomorrow. Because the moment you stop giving them access, you'll see the truth. Something's shifting, not just in the stars, but in your relationships. You're not imagining it. People are acting strange, colder, more reactive. Like they feel entitled to a version of you that no longer exists. That's not random. That's the energy reacting to your boundaries. Venus is pulling back for a reason, and it's showing you who was really connected to your heart and who was just feeding off your patterns. Be careful here, because right now, someone might be trying to pull you back into a loop you've outgrown, and they're not doing it with love. They're doing it with bait. They didn't want your love. They wanted your reaction. Your attention was their drug, your emotional responses, your kindness, your empathy, your vulnerability. Those weren't being seen as sacred. They were being used for control. Most people didn't love you for your warmth. They loved how easily they could read you, predict you, keep you available. But now Venus in Gemini is switching the current. And when you stop responding the way they expect, when you stop answering every message, justifying every feeling, giving out your energy without discernment, everything starts to unravel, not in your world, but in theirs. Suddenly they feel the space, the silence, the absence of your emotional supply, and that's when they get agitated, confused, triggered, because the emotional pattern they once depended on is gone. You're not being rude, you're reclaiming your energy. And what you're starting to feel now isn't selfishness, it's self-respect. Keep holding that line, because what happens next? It separates the ones who truly value your soul from the ones who only valued your access. Chapter 2. Withdrawal is strategy, not rejection. And if you've already pulled your energy back, you're probably noticing it, the shift in how people react to your silence. Because once you stop giving out your light for free, you start to see who was only standing in it for the warmth. This is what Venus in Gemini is really here to teach you. Withdrawal isn't rejection. It's strategy. It's a reset. It's your soul saying, "I'm done being emotionally predictable in a world that only calls when it's hungry." And when you stop being the easy one, The fixer, the forgiver, the one who always replies first, you begin to see who was never really showing up for you. Your silence is louder than their small talk. It says everything they've been avoiding. And now that Venus is creeping closer to Gemini, the energetic shift is already making people nervous. You haven't said anything cruel. You haven't pulled away with anger. But suddenly, they feel it. The absence of your availability, the loss of access to your emotional supply. And that calm, that non-reaction, it starts to trigger them. Because they don't know how to handle the version of you that's no longer apologizing for your space. You're not over-explaining. You're not checking in when they go quiet. You're not trying to fix tension that you didn't cause. You've stopped playing the role they cast you in. And now, they're left with nothing to control. As Epictetus once said, silence is safer than speech, especially when your silence comes from clarity, not punishment. You're not being cold, you're being clear. And that stillness, that quiet, grounded energy you're sitting in now, it's the most powerful shift of all. You don't have to make noise to make impact. Just stay in your peace. That's your new signal. Chapter 3. Emotional availability is not love. And here's the part that stings. The truth most don't want to face. Emotional availability is not love. Some people only feel secure when they can knock you off center. They don't feel grounded unless they can stir something in you. Your reaction, your empathy, your attention. They've gotten used to feeding off your softness, your kindness, your willingness to show up even when you were the one breaking. And now that you're no longer handing that energy out like candy, they don't know who they are without it. Venus in Gemini is peeling that mask off. We're no longer drowning in the emotion-heavy waters of Venus in Cancer. Now we're in air, in distance, in perspective. The fog is lifting. And suddenly, the patterns you couldn't name before? They're obvious now. You're starting to connect the dots. Every time you said yes just to avoid guilt was a quiet no to yourself. Every moment you over-explained just to calm someone else's anxiety, chipped away at your own peace. That's not love. That's sacrifice disguised as connection. Now you see it clearly. When you stop being emotionally available on demand, when you don't explain, don't chase, don't soften the truth, people reveal their true relationship to your presence. Were they really engaging with your soul, or were they just addicted to the comfort of your reaction? As Khalil Gibran wrote, tenderness and kindness are not signs of weakness and despair, but manifestations of strength and resolution. And now your kindness is becoming more selective, more sacred. You're not withholding love. You're refining who gets to experience it. The shift is here. You're not becoming distant. You're becoming discerning. And that's the kind of self-respect no one can manipulate. Chapter 4. Stop being easy to use. People don't get upset because you've changed. They get upset because you've stopped making their comfort your job. And this is where the shift gets even deeper. Because it's not just about becoming unavailable. It's about becoming unpredictable. The most powerful move you can make with someone who once used you is to stop being so easy to use. Let's talk about that illusion you've been living in. The one where you thought your consistency would be enough. You believed that being there, being kind, being emotionally available would teach people how to treat you, that your loyalty would be mirrored, that your softness would call forth theirs. But now, under the sharp lens of Venus in Gemini, the truth is rising. You're seeing it clearly. Some people didn't see you as a person at all. You were a button, a switch, a moment of comfort when they didn't want to face their own reflection, a distraction, a mirror, a hit of reassurance. You became their emotional vending machine, reliable, predictable, always ready to deliver. And the second you didn't show up the way they expected, the second you hesitated, slowed down, asked for space, they pulled away. Not because you became distant, but because the transaction didn't go through. This shift isn't about becoming cold. It's about becoming clear. You're no longer responding on command, no longer offering your energy just because someone reaches for it. And when people realize they can't predict your reaction, that's when their true intentions surface. You're not here to be someone's emotional convenience store. You're here to be a whole human. As James Baldwin once said, you have to go the way your blood beats. And if your blood is calling you away from being useful, predictable, always available, listen, because that's not selfish, that's soul survival. Chapter 5. Predictability is not love, it's leverage. Some people don't love you. They love how easily they can reach you. But here's the quiet power move. You don't need to explain, prove, or react. You just need to become less predictable. Not to play games, but to reclaim your energy. Because predictability isn't love, it's leverage. And when people know exactly how you'll respond, they stop listening. They start assuming. And they begin to treat your presence like it's always guaranteed. That's where the shift begins. When you stop showing up the same way every time, people are forced to actually see you, to wonder, to pay attention. You stop being their entertainment, their outlet, their emotional safety net. And the ones who only valued your consistency, not your soul, will start to feel uncomfortable, not because you're being mean, but because they can no longer use your patterns to anchor their chaos. And what happens next is revealing. Some will step up, meet you with awareness, ask how you are instead of what you can do. Others will drift, ghost, or guilt trip. Either way, it's your freedom. As Rainer Maria Rilke said, the only journey is the one within. And now, you're on that path. A path where your energy is no longer available on demand, where your presence is no longer taken for granted. Because what's always available becomes background noise. And your soul was never meant to be a hum in the distance. It was meant to resonate. This isn't about becoming cold or distant. It's about becoming intentional, about showing up in your power, not from habit. You're not withdrawing to punish. You're pulling back to protect. And the ones who truly value you, they'll rise to meet the new frequency. The rest, let them miss the version of you they once took for granted. Chapter 6. Emotional generosity versus spiritual self-abandonment. If you're always replying fast, always available, always saying yes before even checking in with yourself, you're not being kind. You're being conditioned. You've trained the world to see you as easy to reach, easy to use. And here's the uncomfortable truth. People rarely value what they didn't have to earn. Your time, currency, your softness, sacred, your presence, priceless. But when you hand it out like samples, when your soul is always on sale, you start to see something ugly. They only show up when they're hungry, never to feed you back. That's not love, that's extraction. And your constant yes isn't generosity. It's spiritual self-abandonment. It's a survival pattern, a belief that if you give enough, prove enough, stretch enough, you'll finally be seen, finally be chosen. But Venus in Gemini? She's not playing that game. This shift doesn't reward emotional overextension. It rewards discernment. It doesn't ask, who needs you? It asks, who's earned access to you? There's a difference, and this transit is making it loud. Start asking the hard questions. Who disappears when you need holding, but calls when they need healing? Who assumes your forgiveness, but forgets your boundaries? Who calls you deep, but can't meet you in your depth? Because real love doesn't rush you. It respects your pace. It doesn't demand access. It honors it. As Bell Hooks wrote, love is an action, never simply a feeling. And your action now? Pull back, review, reclaim. This isn't selfish. It's spiritual self-respect. And once you stop abandoning yourself just to keep everyone else comfortable, you'll notice the shift. Your peace will feel louder than their praise ever did. Chapter 7. Your absence is sacred. Here's the part no one tells you. Your absence is just as sacred as your presence. Your silence is not cold, it's clarity. Your no is not rejection, it's a boundary. And when you stop over-explaining, over-giving, and overextending, you begin to understand something powerful. You were never meant to audition for love. You were born with worth. And walking away from what doesn't honor that isn't punishment. It's protection. Because when you pull back, people start to feel the weight of your absence. The space you once filled becomes loud. They notice how much light you were giving when you expected nothing in return. And those who truly value you, they won't chase you in panic. They'll rise in awareness. They'll meet your new frequency. The rest will fall away. Not because they're bad, but because they were only there for what was easy. And that, right there, is your awakening. But don't get too comfortable, because once you reclaim your power, the universe will test it. You're about to be tempted, not by darkness, but by distraction. Not every connection is a sign. Some are just noise wrapped in charm. Some come dressed as destiny, but their purpose is to pull you off path. This is the duality of Venus in Gemini, doors opening all at once, curiosity rising, multiple paths appearing. But discernment is your compass now. Don't follow what feels familiar. Follow what feels true. As Anais Nin once said, "I must be a mermaid. I have no fear of depths and a great fear of shallow living." And now is your moment to choose, depth or distraction, alignment or attention, sacred connection or emotional convenience. You've come too far to hand your energy back to what once drained you. Let your absence speak. Let your silence sort the room. Chapter 8. Not every spark deserves a flame. Some doors open with sparks flying, sudden chemistry, wild thoughts, unexpected messages from ghosts of the past. It feels exciting, electric, like a sign. But here's the truth. Not every spark deserves a flame. During this Venus in Gemini shift, you'll feel drawn to things that stimulate, not necessarily things that serve. A sudden compliment, a deep conversation, an old fling sliding back into your DMS. This is trickster energy. It's flirtation without foundation, attention without intention. It's the mind chasing sensation instead of the soul seeking truth. Gemini doesn't always speak the language of emotion. It speaks in ideas, curiosity, temptation. And if you're not grounded, you'll mistake mental excitement for spiritual alignment. You'll think you've found the one when really you've just found another test. This isn't about weakness. It's about awareness. The universe isn't judging you. It's watching. Watching what you do when what you wanted suddenly shows up. That old person you begged to return? That opportunity you thought you missed? That compliment that hits just right on the wrong day? They're not signs. They're mirrors, reflecting whether you've grown or you're just bored. Temptation isn't about the thing. It's about the choice. Will you choose growth, or will you chase the same loop with a different name? Some of you will feel the pull to go back, not because it feels right, but because it feels familiar. Others will chase something new, something shiny, just to avoid the stillness of this transformation. But remember this, a spark is just friction. A flame is a commitment. And some sparks are only here to distract you long enough to burn down everything you've just built. Don't let curiosity cost you your clarity. Feel the spark, but choose your fire wisely. Chapter 9. The Power of Restraint. The real power now lies in restraint, in the pause before the impulse, in the stillness before the spark. You'll feel it. That urge to reply fast, to chase the thrill, to prove you've moved on by showing the world how unbothered you are. But that's not evolution. That's ego. True evolution doesn't announce itself. It shows up quietly in what you no longer respond to. This Venus in Gemini energy will tempt your mind with options, distractions, curiosity loops. You'll ask yourself, should I reply? Should I engage? Should I see where this goes? But here's the better question. Am I being pulled into alignment, or am I escaping discomfort? Not every door is yours to walk through. And just because it's open doesn't mean it's sacred. This is where discernment becomes your armor. When everything feels fast, shiny, and urgent, choose peace over proof. Choose stillness over stimulation. Because clarity doesn't come from chasing. It comes from choosing, from saying, "That looks interesting, but I choose my center." As the Stoics taught, freedom is the power to choose your chains. And most chains don't look like prisons. They look like conversations, like chemistry, like old habits that ask for one more round. But every impulsive reaction, every message you didn't think through, every energy leak you justified in the name of just being real, costs you a part of yourself. Impulses are threads. One pull seems harmless, but tug at enough of them and your whole energetic fabric begins to unravel. So protect your pattern. The version of you that stays calm, centered, and unshaken, that's the one Venus is asking you to step into now. Restraint isn't restriction, it's refinement. And those who master it become magnetic without saying a word. Chapter 10. They're not feeding off love, they're feeding off access. You might think it's love because it feels intense, because the connection is so charged, so consuming. But look closer. That feeling? It's not love. It's leverage. And it's not your heart they're feeding off. It's your access. They stay calm while you unravel. They act confused while you over-explain. But it's all part of the game. Because the more available you are, the more predictable, the more responsive, the easier you are to control. And here's the part that breaks the spell. They don't want resolution. They want your reaction. They want the version of you that's still hoping, still fixing, still trying to earn peace by explaining your pain. But when you step back, not with drama, not with rage, just with calm distance, the whole illusion begins to fall apart. Manipulators don't know what to do when you become unreachable. They lose grip because their power never came from truth. It came from your willingness to stay in the loop, to keep performing the role they assigned to you. The version of you who believed that if you just said the right words, cried the right tears, stayed long enough, they'd finally change. But pain doesn't heal pain. Clarity does. Silence does. And Venus in Gemini is showing you, love isn't proven through emotional exhaustion. It's revealed through what you stop carrying. Your truth isn't in how much you can tolerate. It's in how quickly you walk away from what drains you. You don't owe anyone an explanation for protecting your peace. And when you stop reacting, when you stop explaining things they already know, they reveal their true face. Let them. Because that mask was never love. It was access dressed up as connection. And now, you've changed the locks. Chapter 11. Detachment isn't cold, it's sacred. The next phase of this shift? It's not loud, it's not dramatic. It's a quiet break, the final one. The moment you stop begging to be understood and start learning how to live free. Letting go of what drains you isn't losing love. It's making space for the kind of love that doesn't ask you to shrink, the kind that doesn't feel heavy, confusing, or one-sided. And that freedom you're starting to feel, that peace that's slowly replacing the chaos, that's not you becoming cold. That's you becoming clear. Emotional detachment has a power to it, but not the kind people fear. It's not numbness, it's not apathy, it's sacred. It's the art of no longer leaking energy into connections that don't grow you. Detachment isn't about turning your heart off, it's about turning your soul on. Venus in Gemini is a total rewiring. This isn't about loyalty to history, it's about alignment with now. You stop choosing people because of time served or sacrifices made. You start noticing who your energy actually harmonizes with, who expands your mind, who activates your spirit. And yes, that means some people will fade, but they're not leaving because you became distant. They're leaving because you stopped playing small to stay close. The loop ends when you stop feeding it. And when you detach with love and clarity, something magical happens. Space opens. And in that space, real connection shows up. Suddenly, you're drawn to people who make your mind feel like a galaxy. People who mirror back your growth, not your guilt. Conversations that nourish, not drain. That's what emotional clarity creates. Not coldness, but elevation. You're not giving less, you're giving better. And the love that's meant for this new version of you, it doesn't need fixing. It flows. Chapter 12. Let your higher self lead. This is the magic of Venus in Gemini. It doesn't want to trap you in love, it wants to elevate you through it. It's curious, light, magnetic. It plays, it learns, it evolves. And this detachment you're stepping into? It doesn't mean you've given up on love. It means you've stopped calling pain love just because it was familiar. You're not chasing passion that leaves you empty anymore. You're not confusing chaos with chemistry. You're no longer performing your worth just to receive crumbs of attention. You're not afraid of love. You're rewriting how love feels in your life. You've handed the steering wheel over to your higher self. And when she leads, everything changes. Don't be surprised if someone new enters your space. Not someone who shakes your nervous system, but someone who soothes it. Someone whose presence feels like air, not pressure. They won't demand more than you're ready to give. They'll respect your detachment as a sign of discernment, not disinterest. Because when you stop begging to be seen, the right people notice you without effort. That's what this Venus in Gemini portal is all about. Creating space for a higher connection by shedding the ones that kept you small. The moment you stop forcing what's fading, you become magnetic to what's meant. This isn't about finding the one. It's about becoming someone who doesn't need love to be whole, but who can finally receive love that honors their wholeness. And when your higher self leads the way, love stops feeling like a battlefield. It feels like home, quiet, safe, expansive, real. Chapter 13. This is your rebirth. Stop explaining. This is your rebirth. Not a soft whisper, but a full-body shift. Not a vague spiritual phrase, but a real-time transformation that begins the moment you stop needing validation from people who never truly saw you. You are not bound to the identity shaped by pain, loss, or survival. You are not required to keep wearing the version of yourself that got you through the fire. Venus in Gemini is your cosmic permission slip to evolve, fast, boldly, unapologetically. This isn't about being emotionally loyal to the past. This is about becoming who your past couldn't imagine. You're allowed to change your mind mid-sentence. You're allowed to grow out of your old dreams. You're allowed to explore parts of yourself that others won't recognize, and maybe even fear. You're not here to be the emotional glue for people who disappear when you fall apart. That era is over. This is the rise of the version of you with sharper boundaries, louder truth, and a presence that commands energy without needing to speak. Yes, you will lose things: approval, familiarity, people who liked you better quiet. But that isn't collapse. That's clearing. Because you're no longer available for the you who was built on survival. You're building from intention now. This shift isn't just about relationships. It's about self-respect. About walking like someone who finally knows what they deserve. You're no longer performing safety. You are safety. You are the shift. As Carl Jung said, the privilege of a lifetime is to become who you truly are. And now, you're doing it. Venus in Gemini wants your playful, powerful, expansive self. The one who flirts with possibility, the one who reinvents instead of repeats, the one who stopped asking for permission and just became. Let that version lead. The world won't know what hit it. If you're still here, thank you for your energy. It means everything. If this message stirred something in you, hit that subscribe button and stay connected. Your support helps this truth reach others who need it. Share your thoughts or your experience in the comments. I'd love to hear how this shift is showing up for you. Until next time, protect your energy, honor your growth, and remember, You don't owe anyone access to a version of you that no longer exists. Stay grounded, stay curious, and don't forget to subscribe for more soul-shifting content.